Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame, which is a very appropriate location for today's media availability with Doug Weight. We heard from Charlie Huddy here earlier today, who is Doug's fellow inductee for the 23-24 class of the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame. And just at the outset, Doug, on behalf of everyone in the Edmonton Oilers organization, I know we had a chance to catch up the other day. Just want to say what an honor it is for us to be welcoming you into the Oilers Hall of Fame. Really excited and grateful to our selection committee made up of some Oilers alumni, member of the medias and others for their wisdom in choosing you and Charlie for this class. I would just say that for a generation of Oilers fans in the 90s and into the late 90s, Doug epitomized not only, the culture and heart and soul of the organization, but really, was a tremendous goal scorer and point producer, but more than anything, was a leader on that team at a time when these guys were punching above their weight in the NHL. So very excited to be here today, and I think we'll turn it over to Doug for some introductory comments, and then we'll open it to the media.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll repeat after Charlie. I'm sure it's just an honor to be considered, and certainly a great part of my life and my memories, and really my career. It just the city, the people that were involved in every aspect of the team, and the fans, and my teammates. I'm really proud of it, and I'm looking forward to it as well. So I appreciate even being considered, and certainly it'll be a great trip for my family and I. So I look forward to it.
Doug, Tony Ferraro, Oilers TV. Go ahead, Tony.
Hi, Doug. Congratulations. Let's start right from the beginning. When you first found out you were heading to Edmonton in your second year in the NHL, what was going through your mind, and what were you most excited about?
Oh man, it was hard. It was a difficult your first trade. I think you're still in that college mode, junior mode, where you're going to be on the same team forever, and you're going to be friends forever, and so it was a difficult few weeks. But once I got past the fact that I was getting traded, you realize that you're going to a team that really wants you. It was a great situation for me to really be able to prosper and be given a little more responsibility. I think the Rangers were and obviously a very veteran team. It was just once I got through that initial shock, I fell in love with the city right away, and our teammates. I think Glenn held no bones about what he wanted to do. He wanted to build our core of young players and keep us together, and that's what he did. I think the thing I'll probably repeat a lot is, the beginning was hard, but I was the most proud of in my 20 years is probably the 6 years straight that we made the playoffs in a non-cap related league. It was pretty special that we achieved some good things, and obviously we never won, but we won some rounds, and we made some really, really good teams have to work pretty hard and come out of those series a little beat up. So it was a proud time for me. The whole maturation of our team as a group and our core. As I sit here, with Mikey Greer, and Toddy Marchand is working for us as well in the Sharks organization. So we had a great love for each other, and love for playing hard.
Doug, it's funny because last week I was watching some NHL highlights, and your goal against Calgary showed up in the YouTube video, the one at Rexall Place very early on in the hockey game. Does this still bring a smile to your face whenever you see it? And maybe if you can kind of take us through that play.
Yeah, it's I I think it was the second over the boards there, so it's probably less than a minute in, and I was just teasing Mikey Greer that was a heck of an assist. But you know, we got some speed coming up the ice, and when you can catch a little gap, I think they were changing too, and I was able to gap up to D and kind of push him back with a little speed. And I don't know, sometimes you just you get a little lucky, and you'd like to think it's skill, but I don't know how I got around Allison, and I was going backwards at one time, but it happened pretty quick, but I'll take it. It's a proud, that was one of my better goals. So that was great to do it against Calgary as well.
Great. We'll take another question from Derek Van Diest.
Hey Doug, Derek Van Diest, NHL.com. I just wanted, was it true that you were in the Rangers dressing room when you got traded and you had to pack your bags and walk over to the Oilers room?
Yeah. So in actuality, we used to stay in day rooms in the city just due to traffic issues. And I thought it was a wake-up call, because I usually got the wake-up call about 3:45, and it happened to be the GM. And so I had a feeling it was around the deadline that something was going on. And I got up to the room, and he said, "You've been traded." And he said, "Glenn Sather would like to talk to you." And I said, "Well, Glenn Sather," I said, "that's Edmonton. We're playing Edmonton tonight." And he goes, "Yeah, he wants you to play." So I was just, when I got to the rink, I had already known I'd been traded, but I had to go get my stuff. And they called it the shopping cart. I had to pass. I passed Essa in the hallway, and you know, Essa, he's laughing, and I was astonished. But yeah, it was pretty tough. I don't remember much of that game. I think we won in overtime. Craig McTavish might have scored in overtime, but I was kind of numbed out, and you know, you can't believe that you're actually changing rooms and don't know anyone on the team. And it was a pretty incredible day.
Thanks, Doug. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take a couple more questions. One from Jim Matheson. Go ahead, Jim.
Dougie, congratulations. Can you tell me how you got your skating stride, your 10-2 skating stride?
Yeah. You know, it was, I don't know exactly. I know my dad, every time I'd get on the rink, he'd make me do, I think it was like 10 laps each way, and I'd have a puck. So the two rules were my feet can't leave the ice, and I have to go as fast as I can, and the puck shouldn't touch any paint. So you're constantly shuffling and opening your legs on your turn, and you just kind of develop that 10-2. I guess I never thought I was the most flexible, but it was just a real comfortable position, because that's what I would do. I would go around the rink 10 times and never pick my feet off the ice. So, and trying to go as fast as you can, you learned how to kind of gain speed without really moving too much. So, and the secondary part of that was you're not really thinking about your feet being on the ice, because you have the puck and you're trying to flip it over the blue line and flip it over the red line. And as you get faster, it's just something that he, you know, instilled, and I just did it probably my whole career. I would go out there and just do that. So that's how that started. It just about doing laps without lifting my feet up. And then you kind of realize if you can't turn your feet, you want to start opening your hips. And my dad used to make me do the drill, Jimmy, and I'd go around the rink 10 times with a puck, and I couldn't lift my feet up. And I try to go as fast as I could. And the only two rules were you can't lift your feet, and you can't let the puck touch any part of the paint. So any blue line, any circles, hash marks, you got to lift it and sauce it over it as you move. So I don't know. I just learned how to keep my pace up without lifting my feet up. And 10-2 just kind of came with it. And you realize how deception you can create by opening your hips and giving yourself options to make passes behind you. And it just was always an asset for me. And fortunately, I got pretty good at it and was able to use it quite a bit.
Another question, you mentioned about how much pride you took in the Oilers being successful in an era where they had less money to spend than, you know, the Colorados and Dallases and such. How exciting were those two playoff wins when you beat Colorado and then you beat Dallas in another year?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I look back and it's kind of like our Stanley Cup then, you know, but amazingly, we still had the belief. We had some really good leadership in our coaches, and I don't know. I mentioned the fact that Slats wanted to keep our core together and grow us together as a group, and we just really cared for each other. And we stepped our game up and played a physical brand of hockey. I think back in the day of we really got out of our comfort zone, all our players, whether we were we all seemed to play differently in those playoffs, and I hope people enjoyed it, because I always, you know, heard some great things from the teams we played, whether we won or lost, that we were hard to play against. So I think that's what you wanted to be, and to beat Dallas was, you know, an incredible feat for us. I think they were probably a 40-point leader in the clubhouse as far as they probably had 40 more points than our team going into the series. So and again, the next year to do it, it was pretty amazing against a great team in Colorado. So very proud of those moments.
One last question. You were part of the Carolina team that beat the Oilers in the 7th game. I know you were hurt, but were you excited and then also realized that you beat the team you used to play for?
Yeah, and you know, really tough situation, because it wasn't just the team I played for, but really is, you know, Edmonton's kind of the team I identify with as, you know, getting my start, was given a lot of responsibility, and I grew as a player and a person. You know, that was even though it was 5 years after I left, it was tough. You know, for my first Stanley Cup final, I got to play not only friends and fans and, you know, somewhere that was so close to home to me emotionally. It was difficult. I didn't feel like I had the greatest series because of that. And it's funny, you're 35 years old, you figure you can handle all your nerves, but it definitely was a little uncomfortable. And you know, thankfully we won. And the bad part is your friends are on the other side losing, but it was a special time nonetheless. And you know, I was glad to see the Oil, who I believe made the playoffs in the last day of the season, or one of them. You know, it was quite the story, and it was a heck of a series.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Take another question, Doug, from Cam Moon. Cam, go ahead.
Doug, congratulations. A very well-deserved honor. We've seen the last, few years, the excitement of the playoffs in Edmonton. Take me back to those series wins in 97 and 98, just from a player's perspective of the vibe in the city when you guys were able to win those rounds.
Yeah, the first playoffs, I had heard a lot about the atmosphere, and I got to be honest, I wasn't prepared for it. It was an amazing building. I don't know that anything has been replicated that I've played in, really. It's loud, it's crazy. The whole town is just fixated with the playoff matchup. And you think of I believe it was game 3, we were down. I think we had 10 shots on net, and it was 3-0 Dallas, and we ended up scoring 3 goals quickly, and then I think Kelly won it in overtime, Buckberger. So I just never have heard a building rock like that. And then coming out for game 4 as well. It's just an amazing atmosphere. And you talk about Canada, and thank God I was able to play a big chunk of my career in a Canadian city, and just to feel the fire and the way they love the game, and they're educated on the game. It's just it's a wonderful thing I was able to do.
Take one more question from CTV News. Go ahead, CTV.
Hi, Doug. Evan Kenny from CTV News. You were here for, just about a decade. Is there one memory or one instance that maybe sticks out in your head about your time in Edmonton?
Oh, good question. I think wow. I mean, certainly those two wins were really the biggest thing we did as a team. I did point out earlier that, to make the playoffs in 6 straight seasons after we missed the first 2 years I was there, that was special because it wasn't easy, and I think at least 4 or 5 of those years coming down, you're entering in late March and April, and we had to go like 6-1 one year. I think we went like 12 games without a loss one year, and we made it by 3 or 4 points. It was not easy to make the playoffs back then, and that's probably what growing together as a team with the core we had with the older players, Kelly and Luke Richardson and Cujo, but then our young core that we had with Smitty and Toddy Marchant and the guys that came through there. I don't know. I'm very proud of the whole thing. I loved it. We loved living there. And that's probably what I remember the most is that I felt like we certainly didn't underachieve. We never reached our goal, but I felt like we were a team that overachieved at times, and we worked hard for it. So I was proud of that. Certainly proud to be named captain after Kelly had left. That meant a lot as well to me. So yeah, those are probably some of the greatest things.
Any more questions, media? Hey, if there are no more questions, this concludes the media availability. Doug, thank you for your time and congratulations on your induction.
Guys, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all in a couple weeks.